Welcome to Therapeutic Yoga today. We are going to dedicate today's entire class to the concept of gratitude. What you're going to need in class today is pretty simple. You need some paper and some pen. We're going to use that at the very beginning of class. So if you want to grab yourself some paper and pen right now, that would be great. We're also going to start in sitting. So your options for that are to be on a bolster, or if you want to start the class in sitting in a chair, A-okay. We will not be using the bolster for anything else outside of sitting today. And then of course your yoga mat when we make it down onto the floor, onto our mat. So I thought it appropriate to begin our gratitude class today with actually defining what gratitude means. So if you look in the dictionary and you look at what does gratitude mean, it is a noun and it actually has two meanings. And so we are going to utilize those two meanings throughout our entire class today. So meaning number one of gratitude is the quality of being thankful. And so this tends to be the most common thought or definition of gratitude. But I also wanted to share the second concept of gratitude because we are going to really work on this at the second and end of our class. And so the second definition of gratitude is the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness to someone. Readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness to someone. And so that would be the simple description of saying thank you to someone, but we're going to kind of take that a step further when we get into our very last yoga pose of today and spend some good quality time practicing loving kindness. Honestly, the best way to pay it forward for thanking and gratitude for other individuals, either in our lives that we know or that we don't know. So we're going to tackle both definitions of gratitude today in our class. So what I'd like you to do is find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated position, either in the chair or on your bolster. And depending on which one you're choosing to use, make sure you have an efficient base of support. And so that means there must be weight into your legs, and you must feel that weight down into the base of your pelvis where your pelvic floor is. So in either position, the easiest thing to do right now is to just gently have yourself roll your pelvis a little bit forward and a little bit backward. Feel where those sit bones are on the bolster or on the chair, and then find that point where you feel that you're kind of smack dab on the top of those sit bones. So when you're on top of those sit bones, you are not on your pelvic floor, but it allows you to find that neutral position of your lumbar or your low back and your pelvis position. So now that you have that, kind of just allow your body to be nice and tall today. And then from your hips, allow yourself to slightly hinge that entire tall, long body forward so that you feel that there's a little bit of weight into your legs. So if you are sitting in that chair, you can check in that you found that efficient position because you cannot pick your legs up off the floor because there's weight going down through them. Ditto if you are sitting on a bolster, you know you're in the efficient position because to be able to lift your legs up, you'd have to move your body weight backward. Now, we're not going to worry so much about the upper quadrant or upper half of our body's alignment today because we're going to be using a paper and pen. And so for gratitude and the quality of being thankful, one of the things that helps us really become appreciative and present with what we have is to write things down. And when we write things down, a lot of people do that by journaling. We're going to do it by just writing a few things down today. It allows us to then really be present with what we're thankful for. And so we're going to kind of use a couple of the W's. So who, what, where, when, why. And then of course there's the how. We're not going to go through all 6 of those. But I challenge you, if you've got the time, sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and go through who, what, where, when, why, and how you are grateful. It's an interesting a challenge for you to really spend that time with yourself and see what matters to you in life. So we're just going to tackle two of those today, and we're going to tackle the who's and the what's. And so what I want you to do with your piece of paper and pen is I want you to take a moment to just gently close your eyes and just let yourself be for a second. No judgment in how you're choosing to do that. In fact, if you don't like to close your eyes, just steady your eyes downward into a gaze on something. And I want you to think about that who for a minute. So if I simply asked you the question, pick 3 people or animals in your life that you are grateful for, I want you to think about who comes to mind. And as you keep your mind steady and you're focusing on that who, think number 1, think number 2, and then think number 3. And then once you've taken the moment to be mindful and practice who you are grateful for having in your life, then I want you to simply open your eyes, take pen to paper, and write those 3 names down. Once you've written those 3 names down, take a moment to look at them. And the reason I'm asking you to take a moment to look at them is in today's gratitude class, we're not going to be counting our breath. We're going to be using our breath to recall what we're grateful for over and over and over again. Kind of like if we were just repeating a mantra, which is often done in meditation, we're going to be thinking about what we wrote down, how we wrote it down, who we wrote down, and be grateful for them. So that is your who. Now allow yourself just to close your eyes again, rest yourself, be mindful for a second, be present. And now that you've written your who down, I want you to go to your what. Now, when you think of what, it can be physical things, it can be actions, but I want you to just let yourself immediately guide yourself into what 3 things you are grateful for. Allow yourself to think of number 1, think of number 2, and then think of number 3. What are you grateful for? And then once you've thought about those things, gently open your eyes, take paper to pen, and write down your 3 whats. Now, we're not quite done with our paper and pen. And I will tell you that for some of you, today's class is going to be like a little bit of a mini mental exam because I want you to be recalling these 3 whats and these 3 who's as we go through practicing our movements of yoga today. But before we let paper and pen lay down for the remainder of class, I want you to do one final thing. And that is, I want you to take a moment to write down one person who you struggle with that you wish you could make things better with. And so this could be a person of your present, could be someone you're detached from. But I want you to take this opportunity right now to physically write that person's name down so that when we get to the end of class and we're practicing loving kindness, you can be thankful and grateful even for those individuals you may not currently love. So take a moment to write that physical name down so that you've written it down. It's on paper. You can visualize it at the end of class. All right, now, once you have done your gratitude list of who and you have done your gratitude list of what, before we get moving these bodies of ours, take a quick moment to look at your who's one more time. I am going to share my who's with you. My who's: number one, my husband; number two, my family; and number three, my precious yoga community. I am going to share my what's. Number one, my health; number two, my hands; and finally, number three, a safe home. So what I want you to think about moving forward towards today and tomorrow and the next day and the next is maybe you will open your heart and share your who's and your what's with somebody in your life. All right. So paper and pen, place it down. Hopefully you've got your who's and what's in your mind, because we're going to be using those throughout class today. And once you have that, keep yourself in that nice, good seated position. Take your hands to the center of your heart. Think of your very first who. And as you think of that very first who, take a nice deep inhale, lift your arms all the way up in the air, turn the palms to the ceiling, lengthen through that body, and then as you exhale, bring those hands down. Hands back to your heart. Second who on your list, think of them. Take a nice deep inhale, lifting all the way up, reach those hands nice and high, and then as you exhale, drop those hands down. Finally, hands to heart, your third who. Think about them. Take a nice deep inhale all the way up to the sky, lengthen that body, and then as you exhale, bring those arms downward. You've got it. And take your left hand, place it either on the side of your bolster or the side of your chair if you're sitting in a chair. If you want a little bit of extra flexibility, you can actually even take your hand down to your yoga mat or make a fist with your hand, whichever you prefer. Then in this position, whichever one you are comfortable with the right hand, take a nice deep inhale, lift that hand up. And then as you exhale, side bend that arm up and over. Now really sit into your right sit bone here, lengthen through your neck, lengthen through your body, turn that right armpit upward, gaze upward to the right if you can and your neck allows you to. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, place the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Take a deep inhale into your belly, think of who, number one. And exhaling out. 2 more breaths, of course. Deep inhaling into the belly. Think of who, number two, and then exhaling out. And finally, deep inhale into the belly. And think of who, number three, and exhaling out. And then inhale that left arm up and then exhale that arm down. Moving over to the opposite side. So if you're on the chair, just placing your hand to the edge of your chair. Ditto on your bolster. If you want to move your hand all the way down to get a deeper stretch into your low back, feel free to do that. And then when you're ready, left hand out to your side, take a nice deep inhale and lift that arm high. And then as you exhale, reach that arm up and over. Get that length out of the left side of your body. Sit down into that left sit bone. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, take your gaze upward. Turn that armpit up to ceiling so that you get those abdominals as well. 3 breaths here. Stick with your who. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhale. Nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhale. Third who, do it for me. Deep inhale in. And exhale. Beautiful. Taking that inhale up with that arm, exhale, dropping that hand down. Excellent. All right, let's move ourselves out of our sitting position and find our way down to the mat. So slowly transition yourself either through rolling through your side onto your knees or coming down to the floor if you're on a chair. With respect to your yoga bolster, you're done with it, so you can just gently move it out to the side of you. And then start to find your hands in knees position. Nice, good alignment here. So take those two fists, bring them between the knees so you've got your good hip alignment. And then look back and make sure you see that your feet and your heels line up with your knees. And then stack your hips directly on top of your hips, or on top of your knees. Walk those hands so that the hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Allow the index fingers to point forward, allow the thumbs to go outward, and those outer three fingers, spread them out nice and wide. All right, stay in this position for a second and kind of rotate through your shoulders. And as you rotate through your shoulders, see that rotation that happens through your elbow creases. And then find that position where your elbow creases kind of point in the same direction as your thumbs. Once you're here, lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Keep everything nice and steady. Keep that nice, beautiful tabletop position. Allow yourself to only move your belly here. So really learning how to dissociate your abdominals from your spine. So don't let your spine move, but take a nice deep inhale and just slowly let your belly sink towards your yoga mat, keeping the spine perfectly still. And then as you exhale, contract all four of those abdominal muscles and pull all of your guts upwards towards your spine. Let's do that 2 more times. So as you inhale, the spine stays perfectly still, but you let your abdominals relax, let your guts fall outward towards the floor. Nice, good massage for your abdominals and your guts, by the way. And then as you exhale, use those abdominals, pull everything up and in, but don't let the pelvis or the spine move. Last time here. Inhale, slowly relaxing the belly down as you let the abdominals relax. And then as you exhale, pull those abdominals up and in, contract all four abdominals as you give those guts a nice good massage. Now, slowly push yourself back so that your heels and your sit bones kind of meet one another. And then allow yourself to kind of drop down onto your elbows, but not down into a full child's pose yet. So we're going to do something to do a little bit of opening through these wrists. So what I'd like you to do in this position is to take your left hand and gently rest your left hand around your right wrist. And then in that position, as you inhale, hold the wrist tissue, but allow the palm to kind of rotate upwards so you get that myofascial release through those wrist joints. You may even feel a couple of pops. And then as you exhale, just turn the palm down. And try that again. So hold the tissue nice and tight. And as you inhale, feel the bones moving separate of the tissue that you're holding. And then as you exhale, just let that go in the opposite direction. And then switch to the other hand. So take your right hand around your left wrist and grip onto that skin, grip onto that tissue. But then as you inhale, really allow those bones to rotate and open upward. And then as you exhale, turn that palm down as you turn those bones separate of those tissues of that wrist. Very, very good at opening up through those joints, by the way. Inhale, rotate upward with the palm. And then as you exhale, just slowly let it rotate downward. Maybe you're getting a couple pops and snaps like I am. That's exactly what you want. And then rest your chest down onto your knees. Allow the crown of your head to slowly come down towards your mat. Let your elbows relax out to the side and let those index fingers rest towards the front of your mat. And just keep yourself right here. All right, not so long ago, we wrote a list of what's that we are grateful for. Do you remember them? I told you there would be a mini mental exam today. So I want you to think about that piece of paper and think about the what, number one. What did you write? Do you have to go back and look at your paper? You might need to. Feel free to do that. Think about that first thing you wrote. And then take a nice deep inhale in. And then as you exhale, let it go.
All right, think about what number two, what did you write on that second thing that you're grateful for? Take an inhale as you think about it, as you wrote it down. And as you exhale, stay right there. Final one. What was your what number three that you wrote down on your paper? Think about it. And take a deep inhale as you're thinking about it. And a slow exhale as you think about your what number three. And then gently allow yourself to come back up onto those hands and knees. Find that alignment through your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders, but we're going to change your foot alignment here. So what I want you to do is take your big toes and touch them to one another, and take your knees the width of your mat here. So you still want your hips stacked on top of your knees, but your knees are now wider than your hips, and your big toes are kissing one another or touching one another. Check in, you haven't lost the alignment through your hands. All right, now in this position, what I want you to do is we're going to do kind of like a mini cat-cow here. So as you inhale, I'll let the tailbone lift a little bit, let the belly sink, let the shoulder blades go down, let the chest come forward, lengthen the neck and look up. And then as you exhale, curl that tailbone under, pull those abdominals in, shoulder blades apart, chin to chest, look into that belly button. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, sinking the belly, shoulder blades are back, lengthen that neck and look up. And as you exhale, tailbone comes under, abdominals and guts up and in. Spread the shoulder blade, rib cage under, lengthen the neck, chin to chest. Inhale, sinking it all downward. And finally, exhale, curling it all up and under. Now, when you get to this curl up and under, slowly sit yourself back onto those heels. Keep your knees nice and wide here. See if you can get that additional opening through your low back, through your thoracolumbar junction, which is the middle of your back where your rib cage meets your low back. Can you get your chest down towards the floor with this wide leg modification of child's pose? Resting your elbows down onto the floor here. Hands are kind of pointed straight away from you. And can you gently lengthen your neck and take the crown of that head and rest it down onto the floor? How does this feel different than that first child's pose we did? Is there more tension on one side of the body, maybe a little bit more opening that you feel through your rib cage? And keeping yourself slowly right here. Back to the what we go. So those 3 things we just focused on, hopefully you don't have to look at your list this time. 3 breaths, 3 what's that you are grateful for. Number 1, think of it, take a deep inhale into your belly. And then exhale out, still thinking about number 1. Number 2, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling, thinking about the what number 2. Then finally, number 3, deep inhale into the belly. And as you exhale, slowly thinking about number 3. Now, very gently bringing yourself back up onto your hands and knees, bringing those knees back in those hip distance. If you need to check in with your knees, are they hip distance? Feel free to do that. Line up the feet to the back again so that you cannot see your ankles and your toes on the inside or outside. Stack those hips back on top of those knees. And then in this position, 3 last cat-cows here. Make sure that that wrist alignment is there. Index fingers are forward, thumbs are inward. Have those elbows in alignment with those thumbs, and let's go through these 3 breaths. So as you inhale, sink the belly, lift the tailbone, shoulder blades, lengthen the neck, looking upward, and then as you exhale, curling everything under. 2 more breaths, inhaling, sinking everything downward, lengthening through that front of your body. And then as you exhale, beautifully curling everything under, lengthening through the back of that body. One more time here, inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. And then as you exhale, find that length, find that length, find that length. Beautiful job. Now find yourself back into the center position. Slowly sweep your feet to the left side of your mat so that if you look straight back, right behind you, you'll see that your right heel lines up with the center between that space of your knees. Then allow yourself to take that right hand and reach up to that left side of your yoga mat. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, tuck the tailbone under, pull the abdomen in, pull that rib cage under, and then use the strength of your left arm to start to sit yourself back towards that right sit bone. Now, could you figure out how you would move your pelvis to kind of line your pelvis up so that it is midline with the heel of that right foot? Holding in this position, can we go back to our who of gratitude? So rather than counting our breath today, we're counting our blessings, right? So who's number 1 on your who list? Take that deep inhale in, and as you exhale, keep that person in mind. Number 2 on your who list, take a deep inhale in, and then as you exhale, think about that who. Finally, number 3 on that who list, deep inhale in and exhaling out. You've got it beautifully, coming back up into that hands and knee position. Once you're there, sweep those feet to the right side. So this time with the feet to the right side, just take a check back and make sure that that left heel lines up between those 2 knees. Once you have yourself there, line up the hips with the knees, line up the wrists with the shoulders. And then take that left hand, reaching up and over to the right shoulder, right corner of that mat. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And then on your exhale, tucking that tailbone under, really pushing back, using the strength of your right arm to sit yourself back, feeling that stretching through that left shoulder. Can you figure out that pelvic position so that you line up the middle of your pelvis with that left heel? And then once you're there, one more time, working on counting our blessings versus our breath with our who list. Deep inhale in, think about what you wrote down, think about the person's face of who number 1. Then as you exhale, keep that person in mind. Let's do that again. Deep inhale in, number 2. Who's number 2 on that who list? And exhaling out. And finally, inhaling person number 3 on that list. And then exhaling out. And then slowly pushing yourself back up into hands and knees. Line those knees, those feet, those hips, those wrists, those elbows, those shoulders back up. Take one nice deep inhale here. And on the exhale, tuck the tailbone under. Sit back into your heels, belly to your chest. A belly to your thighs, chest to your knees, drop the elbows, crown of the head, drop the crown of the head down onto the mat. Not thinking of our who or our what this time, but thinking about your belly touching your thighs. Take the deepest inhale into your belly that you can. Open that back, and then as you exhale, let it go. One more time, deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling, letting that go. Slowly coming up out of your child's pose position, allowing yourself to turn over onto your side. And once you're laying on your side, gently let yourself roll over onto your back. So you're just gently rolling. Everything is gentle today. It's about our gratitude and our thankfulness and counting our blessings, not so much about any sort of challenging poses or focusing on an area of our body or feeling something specific in our physical
muscles and joints. It's completely about our heart and our mind today. So once you're laying down on your back, do a couple of tucks and tilts through your pelvis so that you feel like you can find that gentle neutral position for your low back. So feel when the pelvis is tucked and the back is flat against the mat, and then feel when it's tilted and the back is nice and big space as you arch through the back, and then find that middle of the road for you. So find that happy medium where your spine is happy. And then check in that your shoulder blades are resting underneath you. Your feet are flat on the floor. Maybe if you can imagine seeing yourself from the side, your knees and your ankles line up somewhat. And then just take your hands and rest your hands on your belly today. So allow yourself to kind of take those pinkies, find your belly button if you want, and then make sure that your other 4 or 3 fingers and your thumb is laying above that belly button area. So we're just kind of resting everything onto our belly here. Now lengthen your neck and settle your chin. And then in this position, keeping those hands on your belly, allow yourself to take the deepest inhale into your belly that you can. Feel that belly expand up and out today. And then as you exhale, allow that belly to sink in and keep exhaling and fully contract those abdominal muscles, but don't let your spine move. So how much can you contract your abdominal muscles without changing that spinal position? Let's do that one more time. Deep inhale. Letting just that belly expand, but don't move the spine, just like we did when we were in tabletop. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in, feel the abdominals contract, but don't let that spine flatten against the mat. All right, let's do one more. That's too good to feel. That feels too good. Let's do it. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And then as you exhale, tighten the muscles, but don't move the spine. Beautiful. Now slowly let your arms kind of fall out to the side. Walk your right foot to the right edge of your mat. Walk your left foot to the left edge of your mat. So now your knees are wider than your hip and your shoulder distance. We're going to do a little bit of windshield wipers, or just kind of letting our legs fall to and from. But as we do that, what I want you to do is really be conscious of doing that nice deep belly breath and that contraction. So take a nice deep inhale here, expand your belly. And then as you exhale, let your belly fall inwards as you let your knees fall to the right side. All right. Now, rest the side of your right foot down on the floor. Rest your right knee as close to the floor as you can. Rest the inside of your left foot down onto your mat. Rest the left knee towards the mat and as far away from you as you can. Holding this opening through the inner thigh on the right side, the outer thigh and the outer leg on the left side. Place those hands back on your belly here. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. All right, let's go back to our what list, ladies and gentlemen. Can you think of those 3 things that were on your what list that you're grateful for? Take a deep inhale. Start thinking about that number 1. Maybe even visualize it written on that paper as you exhale. 2 more breaths, 2 more things on your list. Inhale, thinking of number 2 that you're grateful for. And as you exhale, can you even visualize it written on that piece of paper? Final inhale, number 3 on that what list. And then on that exhale, visualize that 3rd thing written on your piece of paper. And then slowly inhale, letting the knees come upward as everything aligns back to the center position. Take an exhale here. Drop the arms back and out to the side of you. Check in that your spine is in a neutral position and those feet are still the width of your mat. Knees are wider than your hips and your shoulders.
Take a nice deep inhale here. And then on the exhale, let the knees fall towards the left. Can you get the side of that left foot touching that mat and just gently letting that left leg fall outward wherever it goes, feeling that opening through the inner thigh on that left side. And then can you take the inside of your right foot and place it onto your mat and feel that lengthening through the outside of the pelvis, the hip, and the leg as that knee is kind of pushing away from you. And then gently place your hands back on that belly area. Let's go to our who list. Who's number one that you are grateful for? Take a deep inhale in, maybe even as you think about them, visualize them. But on that exhale, see that name that you wrote down. Two more on the list, two more breaths. Deep inhale in, think about person number two. And then as you exhale, visualize that name written on that paper. And finally, deep inhale, visualize person number three. And then as you exhale, physically think about what you wrote on that paper. Did you capitalize the first letter? Literally think about it. And then slowly inhaling, bringing the knees back up to that center position. Arms are resting out to the side of you. Walk your feet back in until they're hip distance. And then take your right knee to your chest. Hug your hands around your shin bone on this right side. Take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. And then slide that left leg all the way down that mat. Now in this position, nice deep inhale into the belly. And then as you exhale, gently pull that left knee into your chest. Holding this position, lengthening through your neck, settling your chin. Can you engage your left leg into the floor? Can you feel your left gluteal muscles tighten as you do that? Maybe you even feel that pelvis move as that left buttock starts to fire. Can you engage your arms and your biceps to keep that right knee into your chest? And can you keep that tension through your upper body and that tension through your left lower body? And then go back to your what list. Number one on your what list. Deep inhale as that belly pushes into that right thigh. And then thinking about what you wrote down on your exhale. Number two on the what list. Deep inhale. Belly pushes into that right thigh. Keep the left leg engaged. Keep your biceps engaged as you exhale. Thinking about it. Can you physically do four things at once right now? Third person on the list, take that inhale. Or third thing on the list, sorry. And then as you exhale, think about it even more. Then relax the contraction of the biceps. Relax the contraction of the left leg. Slide the left leg up your mat. Rest your right foot down onto your mat. And then take your left knee up towards your chest, hands around the shin bone. Nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. Take that right leg, slide it all the way down that mat. And then take a nice deep inhale here and exhale. Fully engage that left knee into your chest. Now, lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Right leg. Can you fully feel the engagement as you push that right leg down? Can you feel the buttocks pushing into your mat? Feel that pelvis actually even turns a little bit to the left as you do that. Quadricep stays engaged. Now, can you take your upper body and pull your shoulder blades back and down, engage to those biceps, and really keep that left knee into your chest? All right, so upper muscle contraction happening, lower muscle contraction happening. Those are two things. Our breath work will be our third thing. And then finally, our gratitude back to our who list will be our fourth thing. Number one on your who list.
Can you take that deep inhale, belly into the thigh as you think about that person, pushing that right leg down and engaging through your shoulder blades and arms? Exhaling out. Number 2 on that list, taking that deep inhaling in, thinking of that person engaging the right arm and the arms and the right leg, exhaling out. All right, one more time here. Third person on that list, deep inhaling in, and then exhaling out. Slowly relaxing the biceps, but keeping the left leg to your chest, and then gently sliding the right leg up. Once the right foot is flat on the floor, allow yourself to take the right knee up and into the chest, taking a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pulling both knees up and into your chest, either keeping your toes pointed up towards your head or letting your feet relax. You pick for today, lengthening your neck, settling your chin. Not focusing on our who's or what right now, but focusing on this beautiful opening through our gluteals, our pelvic floor, our lower back. Really engage through your upper body, pulling those knees to your chest, and take a deep inhale, belly into the thighs. Push that belly into those thighs. Feel that back opening, the gluteals opening. And then as you exhaling, slowly relaxing. One more deep inhale here, deep inhale into the belly, belly pushing into the thighs as you open everything up, and then exhaling here. Now gently lowering the right knee or foot to the floor, gently lowering the left knee, foot to the floor. You've got it. Once you're in this position, check in that those shoulder blades are back underneath you again. Allow yourself to have your feet so that your feet feel like they're directly underneath your knees here. Go to that back and that pelvis and try that tuck and tilt a couple times. Find that middle of the road position for you. And then once you have it, a nice little bridge here for us, and start to gently feel yourself pushing your feet into the floor. Keep your spine stable, brace through your abdominals. Don't let your pelvis or your low back move. And then take an inhale and push your knees forward as you lift your pelvis and your hips, keeping that spine perfectly stable. Maintaining this position, taking an inhale into your belly, exhaling out. Nice deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling out, slowly lowering that neutral spine to the floor, and then relaxing the push into the feet. Let's do that one more time. So check in, you feel like your knees are directly on top of your feet. Check in that you feel that your spine is in its neutral position. Once you're there, gently start to push downward into your feet. Gently brace, harden through your abdominals so your spine and your pelvis don't have the ability to move into flexion or extension. And then take an inhale and use those gluteal muscles and lift that pelvis up off the floor as those knees go over the toes. Take a deep inhale here and exhale. One more beautiful breath, deep inhaling in and exhaling out, dropping that neutral spine and pelvis down to the floor, relaxing the abdominals, relaxing the feet, and then taking that right knee up to your chest again, but this time placing the hands behind the knee onto the back of the thigh, and then sliding the left leg down onto the floor. Pointing your toes up towards your head, lengthening your neck, settling your chin. Taking a gentle inhale as you straighten your knee, keeping your knee to your chest here. Just a little bit of opening for those of us that maybe had a cramp in our hamstring at home. And then as you exhale, relax that down. Inhaling and straightening. Exhaling and relaxing. Inhaling and straightening. Exhaling and relaxing. Let's do 2 more times before we switch sides. Inhaling and straightening. And exhaling and relaxing. And inhaling and straightening. And exhaling and relaxing. You've got it. Slide that left foot up flat on the floor. Take that right foot, rest it on the floor.
And then take that left knee up into your chest. Take your hands to the underside of your thigh, holding that knee up and into your chest, sliding the right leg down onto the mat, both sets of feet pointed towards your head, and lengthening and settling your chin. 5 times for this hamstring in case our hamstring is a little dominant and tight. So inhaling, straightening the knee, exhaling and relaxing. Nice deep inhale here. Can you smile as you inhale? And then exhaling and relaxing. 3 more. Inhaling and straightening. Exhaling and relaxing. Inhaling and straightening. Exhaling and relaxing. Last time, keeping that knee to your chest. Give me an inhale and straighten through those hamstrings. And exhale and relaxing. And then slowly sliding that right foot flat up onto the floor, and then relaxing that left foot down to the floor. All right, shoulder blades, are they underneath you? Neck, is it long and chin is settled? Take your right leg, bring it straight down your mat. Take your left foot, place it up on top of your right thigh. Take your right hand and grab towards that left knee, and that left hand gently bring it out to the side of your body. Take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull that left knee, feel the hip stretching, keep pulling, feel the pelvis lift, keep pulling, feel the low back lift, keep pulling, feel the rib cage lift, but keep that left shoulder blade down. Then lengthening your neck, settling your chin, and taking your gaze towards your left hand, maybe gazing at your big thumb, or maybe just closing your eyes here. All right, our last time working on our what of our gratitude list. Can you look at that entire list right now for me? What? Number 1, number 2, number 3. Can you see them? Go to number 1. What is number 1 on that list? Take a deep inhale as you think about it. And exhaling, keep that thought right there. What list? Number 2. Inhaling, thinking about it. Exhaling, keeping it right here, thinking about it. And finally, number 3 on that what list? Deep inhale in. And exhaling out. And then bringing your head back to the center. Starting at that rib cage and slowly derotating your spine and your low back and your pelvis until finally the hip is unrotated. Placing the left foot on the floor, sliding the right leg up, letting that left leg slide down onto the mat. Right foot up onto that left thigh. Left hand, reach for that right knee. Right hand gently rested out beside you. Allow yourself to lengthen and settle your chin right here. Before we get into it, we're doing our who list this time for the last time. So take a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, start to pull that right knee to the left. Feel the hip stretch. Keep pulling, feel the pelvis stretch. Keep pulling, feel the low back stretch. Keep pulling, feel that rib cage lift and stretch. Right shoulder blade stays down. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, take your gaze towards your right thumb. Or if you'd like, just gently closing your eyes. Can you visualize that entire who list? Number 1, number 2, number 3. All right, number 1 on the list. Take a deep inhale in and think of that person, that lovely, beautiful person, and then exhaling out. Number 2 on that who list, inhale, thinking of that person, so grateful for that person. And then exhaling out. And finally, number 3, deep inhaling in. And exhaling out. Slowly bringing your head back to the center. Slowly derotating rib cage back to mat, low back to mat, pelvis back to mat, unrotate that hip, place that right foot on the floor, slide that left leg up. Go through a couple of tuck tilts of your pelvis. Make sure you feel like you're in a comfortable neutral position.
And then slowly slide the right leg down to the corner of the mat and the left leg down to the corner of the mat. Now, once you have those in that position, you feel like you're comfortable through your lower half. Roll your shoulder blades underneath you. Rest your arms out beside you. Lengthen through your neck. Settle your chin. Rest your tongue to the roof of your mouth, that resting position for our jaw. And gently close your eyes. And take this last minute to visualize your what list. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And we're done with our what list. We do have a little bit more work to do with our who list. But before we get to that, we're going to now practice that second part of the definition of gratitude. Appreciation for others. That simple thank you. Kindness. And we're going to do that through the meditation practice of loving kindness. So I want you to pick one of those people on your who list. Number 1, number 2, number 3. You pick. I want you to think about that person in depth now. Can you physically see the features of their face? The color of their hair and their eyebrows? Maybe even the color of their eyes? Can you picture their whole body? Can you even use your mind's eye to picture them in a scene that you have captured in your moments of your brain that immediately comes to thought? Now that you have that person in your mind, let's give them some beautiful loving kindness. So as you visualize that person, say to that person, may you be safe. Say to that person, may you be happy. Keep them in mind. Say to them, may you be healthy. Finally, say to them, may you live with ease. Loving kindness and gratitude so much go hand in hand because we're so grateful for everything that we have. Thinking of that person one more time. Saying to them, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Let the emotions for that person you love shine right now. And then what I want you to do is at the very beginning of class, I asked you to write down a name that you maybe didn't have so good of a relationship with, or maybe there's a tumultuous past. Or maybe you just have unkind feelings for them. I want us to take this moment, in this present moment right now, regardless how they might feel for you, I want you to give that person loving kindness and to thank them for anything that they may have given you in the past. So say to that person, may you be safe. Visualize their face, their features, their hair, what they look like. Say to them, may you be happy. Picture their face, their body. Say to them, may you be healthy. Picturing them, say to them, may you live with ease. Positive affirmations change how we feel about people. We can always find the good and the bad. Think about their face, their body, and say one more time, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. Even if our paths never cross again, may you live with ease. Now, we've spent a lot of time today thinking of gratitude, of others, of other things. Let's take this last moment to be and be grateful for ourselves. We're taking this time on this mat to be present, to appreciate the things that we have in life and not feel that we need more attachment and more want and more things. And so what I want you to do is literally picture yourself in a picture you've seen of yourself. It can be a social post, maybe at a wedding, maybe at a funeral. I want you to take a moment to picture yourself. Your hair, your features, your body. What is the image that comes to mind of yourself? And then as you picture that, say to the core of your body and the depth of your heart, may I be safe. Can you see the color of your eyes? May I be happy. Can you actually visualize an outfit of clothing you might be wearing? May I be healthy. No matter what throws your way, may I live with ease. Picturing yourself one final time and saying to yourself, may I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. And then slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to wake up your wrists and your ankles as you do some circles. And gently, one leg at a time, let your knees bend. And slowly, when you're ready, let yourself roll over onto your side, resting there for a moment. And then taking a couple nice deep inhales and a couple nice deep exhales. And then on an exhale, allowing that top hand and that bottom elbow to push you up into a seated position. Finding yourself seated in easy pose or whatever is comfortable for you at home. Bringing your hands to the center of your heart. Allowing yourself to be grateful for your whats and your whos, but most importantly, never forgetting about yourself. Nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Beautiful, guys. Thank you.